Could Bobby Dalbec serve an important role on the 2024 Red Sox? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and the Bobby Dalbec saga continues. Basically, since 2021, every spring there is at least one conversation about where Bobby Dalbec could fit in with the big league club. Recently, it's been sort of whether or not he could actually be a starting player with the Red Sox. This year, it's a little bit different. This year, there might actually be an avenue for Bobby Dalbec to take to serve an important role with this team. So, what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break that down. We're going to talk about what role Bobby Dalbec could serve, what it would take to get him into that role, and whether or not we even think Bobby Dalbec playing at the big league level is a good idea or not. But before we get into that, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We're just about 400 subs away from that mark. So if you want to help us get there, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Bobby Dalbec's probably one of the more polarizing figures within Red Sox Nation right now. If you talk to fans, they're either on Team Bobby or they're on team against Bobby. If you talk to 10 Red Sox fans today, I bet you half of them will say that they love Bobby Dalbec and they want him in a Red Sox uniform, and the other half is going to tell you that they don't want him anywhere near that team. Right now, I think I fall somewhere right in the middle of that, but regardless of how you feel about Bobby Dalbec, I really do think there's an avenue this year for him to cement himself into a pretty important role with the big league club. No, I'm not sitting here talking about him being an everyday starter. No, he's probably never going to be hitting third in the Red Sox lineup on a regular basis. But what I'm talking about here are a couple of things the Red Sox are missing on their 26-man roster. The first one being a sort of corner infield utility type player, a guy who can play mainly first and third base. Yes, the Red Sox have utility depth in their bench right now, especially with guys like Refsnyder and Pablo Reyes, and both of them could hypothetically play first base, but neither of them really have a ton of experience at first. Pablo Reyes only playing 2 games at first at the major league level. The other thing the Red Sox could use right now on their bench is a right-handed power hitter. They've got, again, right-handed hitters possibly on their bench in Refsnyder and Reyes, but neither of them are really that power potential. This is where Bobby Dalbec comes in because Bob could be both of those things. Last year in AAA, Bobby Dalbec had a pretty solid season. He hit .269 with a .381 on base percentage and a .557 slug, which was good for a .131 WRC+, or about 31% above league average production, while also smacking 33 home runs and 14 doubles. It did not, however, translate well to Major League Baseball. He played 21 games for the Red Sox last season, struck out over 50% of the time, leading to a .204 average with a .264 on base percentage and a .306 slug, good for just a 51 WRC+, or again, 49% below league average production. But what if there was a niche for Bob to be productive at the plate for the Red Sox? I'm talking about strictly a left-handed pitching killer. Over his career at the major league level, Bobby's been absolutely excellent against left-handed pitching. He has a .273 average with a .338 on base percentage and a .517 slug against lefties, which equates to a .136 WRC+ at the major league level. Like I said, the Red Sox right now could use that right-handed power bat, and if used in the right situation, I think Bobby Dalbec can do that job effectively. So hypothetically, that would solve the Red Sox first problem. The other problem, Bobby Dalbec also could fit in there as well, because over the last year, he's really made himself pretty versatile defensively. Historically, as we know, Bobby Dalbec has not been great on the defense side of things. Over his career at the major league level, where he spent most of his time at first base, he has -13 defensive runs saved at the position, but over the last year, he's been able to successfully play all over the infield. He played 6 games at shortstop, including 1 game at the major league level last year. I think we all remember what that looked like. He also had 43 games at third base, 28 at first base, and he also added the ability to play the outfield a bit too, starting 36 games in right field for the Worcester Red Sox in 2023. This would make it a whole lot easier for the Red Sox to be able to find Bobby Dalbec at-bats in the lineup, and would add some versatility to the Red Sox bench. Now, I know what you're thinking. Corbin, why is this video titled super important if we're just talking about a bench player? And while yes, he's probably not going to be, if he even makes the Red Sox, an everyday guy, I still think his role is important. The Red Sox are going to need versatile options throughout the course of a 162 game season because a whole lot of stuff happens, right? Anything could happen at any point during this whole 162 game season, and having a guy off the bench who can play essentially everywhere on the infield outside of second base and hopefully could fit himself into an outfield position as well is an important position. And obviously the Red Sox right now are very left-handed heavy. Giving someone who would be able to balance that lineup out to the Red Sox could make for some really interesting matchup as the season goes on, and it also allows you to get guys like Rafael Devers and Tristan Casas off their feet, which could be very important as well. That's sort of an underrated aspect. You can't have Rafael Devers and Tristan Casas play an entire 162 game season because that's just not how things work anymore, and you want to try and avoid injuries with your two biggest, best players, right? If one of those guys go down at any point this season, the whole season's probably screwed. So giving these guys the opportunity to get off their feet, maybe DH for a game, maybe even take an entire game off once in a while could be absolutely vital to the Red Sox success. And that's the whole reason why we titled this video Bobby Dalbec in a super important role, because it is. It's an important role with the Red Sox, even though it might not be an everyday player. Now, the bigger overarching question here is, can Bobby Dalbec actually do this? Can he be that guy? And to me, that's the most intriguing question out of all of this, because over the last couple of years, we've seen glimpses of him being able to be this type of player. With 21 in 2020, he was an almost regular everyday player and successful regular everyday player, but 22 and 23 were the exact opposite, where he proved he couldn't. To me, this is what spring training is going to be about for Bob. Can he prove that he can be an everyday player with this team? And in all honesty, right now, this position's kind of his to lose. There is a fight a little bit for this role with guys like Nick Sogard, Jamie Westbrook, or Rami Gonzalez, but Bobby Dalbec's the only one out of the three of those with significant major league experience and familiarity with the big league club. If Bobby Dalbec has an impressive spring like he continuously does, Bobby Dalbec honestly is the undisputed king of the spring. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but you get what I'm saying. Every year he has an impressive spring training, and every year it feels like because of this impressive spring training, we're talking about whether or not he can actually fit on the big league team. Only this year, if he does, I think there is a spot for him, and right now he's off to a hot start once again. In just 9 at-bats, he has 3 hits, a 455 on base percentage, and a 333 slug, good for a 131 WRC+. If he has another one of these killer spring trainings like he's on track to have right now, you're talking about Bobby being that sort of utility right-handed power bat guy for the Red Sox in 2024. I think this is sort of it for Bobby Dalbec, sort of like a last chance university type thing, right? He's going into his age 29 season. He's been given a plentiful amount of opportunities at this point in his career to be an everyday player with the Red Sox. Sometimes it worked out, other times it very did not. And I think ultimately what the Red Sox have decided, and I think most people have decided as well, is that Bobby Dalbec's not an everyday player with the Red Sox, but maybe there is this niche that they can carve out for him. If they can do this and really sort of utilize him against left-handed pitching pretty strictly and only sort of as that bench bat that comes in once, twice a week maybe in certain situations, or to get guys off their feet, maybe this is how he could be successful. In my opinion, if this isn't how it is, the Bobby Dalbec just simply does not have a place anywhere on this big league club. And honestly, I don't know what to expect here. I have no idea what to expect from Bobby Dalbec. Again, I think this is his position to lose, and historically, he does a really good job in spring training. So in my opinion, it's probably a pretty big chance we're going to see Bobby on the 26-man roster, at least to start the 2024 season. And if we're being totally honest here, whether Bobby Dalbec succeeds at this role, or Bobby Dalbec is a hindrance in this role, or Bobby Dalbec does absolutely nothing and is a non-factor and ends up back in AAA at some point in this role, none of it would surprise me. Ultimately, I'm sort of still in the camp of I'd love to see Bobby Dalbec traded. They're not going to get much for him, but to see him get everyday at-bats somewhere else, in my opinion, is probably the best move for Bob, and I think Bob also would agree with that based on everything we've seen this spring training. So I don't know where to fall on this, but I do think if they can utilize him correctly, he could possibly be a legitimate factor on this big league club in 24, whether that's crazy to say or not. but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think? Do you think this is something that could be a possibility? And do you think Bobby Dalbec could succeed in this role and actually be an important figure within the Red Sox 26-man roster this season? Let me know all your thoughts on what the Red Sox should do once again with Bobby Dalbec in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, again, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. So if you made it to the end here, make sure you guys have hit that sub button. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Really does help these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.